This is what it is, okay? I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Hey, welcome to the 13th episode of the Deployment Dojo. This is a live show where we discuss installation and setup topics using the WiX Toolset. I'm your host, Rob Mensching, and joining me today again is my very good friend and still first student of the dojo, David Edson. David, how you doing?
Pretty good. Hello there.
All right, let me bring the music down a little bit. And we took a week off. Had a couple things to go around, and now we're back here for lucky number 13. Last time we did a whole bunch of build variables where we could change things inside the build system. Today I want to talk about runtime variables. Okay. Things that we can change at the very end. So we talked about changing things at the very beginning when we build our code. Now I want to talk about how we can change things like when the user is actually installing. So we're going to go from one end of the system to the other end of the system. And let's just jump into it. You ready for Kata Zero, Dave?
I'm ready.
All right, we're going to do all this stuff in Visual Studio. I have Visual Studio ready for us. I've tried to bump up the font a little bit to make hopefully all the extra windows a little easier to read. So let's see how this goes. First thing I probably better do is build a console app. And let's go ahead and put this in episode 13. Solution name, episode 13. .framework, that's great. So we're gonna create this little console app. We're not gonna worry about what he does. Console, right line. Hello, episode 13. All right, 132, 13. Okay. And do a quick build. All right, bring our output windows now. Oh, got big font in it. Hopefully that's readable. Hopefully that's a little bit easier to see. These used to be really small. All right, there we have our console app. Let's add a new project so that we can actually install this thing. We're gonna install it with an MSI package using Heatwave and episode 13. EP13, that's what we'll call our MSI, that's what we'll call our package, all that good stuff. Kick it up, boom. Okay. Heatwave have given our project. First thing we do, let's add a project reference so that we get our build order correct. Oh, that font is a little bit funky. All right, there we go. Okay, so now you can see here, I have a project reference from my Heatwave MSI project up to my console app up here. That way the console app builds first, my MSI builds second, and I can include all of the content. All right?
Right.
Speaking of including the content, let's go ahead and change this file source. So instead of referring to the source file itself, let's refer to, I didn't change his name, did I? Oh well, console app1.exe. That's fine, it'll work. Nobody cares about the names here. All right, let's build. Wait for it. Everything's going. Now hopefully the exe, the console app didn't build at all, and we still have this thing. All right, build configuration. I want to build x86, please. All right, this is still a thing, our templates that we don't have fixed yet. That it defaults to building 64-bit because I'm on a 64-bit machine and I want to build 32-bit. All right. I just changed the configuration to say, hey, build me 32-bit because I just want to build 32-bit packages because they install everywhere. And that is true, actually. 32-bit packages can install everywhere on Windows. All right, no output means that we're all good. There's our MSI. We probably should go try to install it to test this, right?
Right.
Should I double click it? No. bring up my sandbox here. I created the sandbox before. We've done this enough. I don't think we need to look at it. It's going to pop up a whole bunch of windows, including regedit, as one of the things that we had left over from the last episode, because we were installing reg keys, if you remember.
Right.
All right. There's our program files, which is probably where we defaulted to. Actually, we didn't even look at the template. Where does the template install stuff? Well, let's look at our folders file. In the standard directory, program files folder, and then all that stuff. All right. We're not going to talk about those variables today. We'll talk about them another time. All right, EP13 is our MSI, bin, x86, the x64 one I don't care about, debug, that's an English MSI. There's our MSI. Let's go ahead and install it, and we should see it pop up over here. Oh, to-do manufacturer episode 13. It has our manufacturer name in it. Where did to-do manufacturer name come from? Our package element.
Right.
Yeah. How about we fix that? Here we go. What are we doing? We're testing and we're fixing as we find the issues. Okay. Okay, that's good. Back to sandbox. And there's our console app, and if I run it, I think it's gonna pop up and disappear because I forgot to add a pause at the end of it. But That's great. It's there. Okay. This is what I want to talk about next. All right, so we installed well, let's go ahead and fix this. We're not gonna worry about cleaning up the sandbox. We're good to go. All right, so what did I fix? I fixed the manufacturer location where I was installing to.
Right.
All right, and I'm going to take out these variables because we talked about preprocessor variables and the MS build variables last time, David. I want to show the install time variables. These are the middle variables that we'll talk about maybe even next episode. All right, so I'm going to delete them because I don't want to talk about them right now, and we're just going to call it episode 13. Does that feel comfortable?
Yep.
We've seen this. Remember why I put the tilde up here?
Yeah, so it goes to the top so we can see it.
So we can see it easily. Yep. Let's go ahead and build our MSI again real quick. Yep, that wasn't too bad. All right. Spin up the sandbox again. Always pops up on my other monitor here. I need to teach it how to pop up over here. Okay. Let's go Windows Sandbox. Program files, and there's our Dojo file. All right, episode 13, bin, x86, debug, enus. Episode 13 MSI, here we install. Successfully installed there, and now we have episode 13. Oh, and I forgot to fix the app, David. Oh, well.
Yep.
Whatever. Let's uninstall it just to make sure that it uninstalls. All that's working. All right.
Cool.
Cool, right? Okay,
Yep.
So let's go fix our program so we can see it do something. Console, read, just key. I don't need a line, just a key. Any key. Okay, there. Now we know we can build, install again. All right. I want to look at this now. This is our directory tree. This is our standard folder, program files folder. That's a place on the operating system that Windows defines, right?
Right.
Directory is one of my own creations, and I am using the name EP13, and I've given it this ID install folder. And we gave it an ID so that when we want to say, hey, let's put stuff in that directory, I can say, hey, put this component group inside that directory, right?
Right.
An alternative was if I took out this and I still want to install this component in that directory, I could come over here, change this to a directory, and then put my component inside it, right?
Right.
That's another way I could do it, because this component then would say, hey, I am implicitly using this directory ID up here. All right. And this is fine when you have really small projects, but the template from Heatwave has tried to set us up in a way that says, hey, look, if you're going to grow, trust us, you're going to want to create separate files for where you put your files. Oh, one more undo. There. All right. And to separate where you're installing your files from your directory tree, from all of your package stuff. So it's trying to set up a good pattern so that as you have more and more groups of files, you put them in the separate component groups and you tie it all together.
Right.
Right, okay. So, and here's our component group inside our one feature. All right, this is all great. We've got all of our bits and pieces laying about, and we now know that this directory install folder. By the way, if I wanted, I could put that directory there as well. All right, fine. If you want to use 4 spaces, I'll let you use 4 spaces. I'm fighting the editor right now. It wants 4 spaces. Right, that's another way to do it. And that works fine. It's just if you have like many components, and you have this directory install folder many times, let's just put it up here because, hey, these things are all related. That's easier then.
Right.
Same thing, different ways. Okay?
Yep.
This ID ties things together. And in general, these IDs are internal to our system, except in the case of directories, like program files folder. That name is special, and it says, hey, when you're installing, use this directory, the program files folder, C:program files x86, which happens to be localized in other languages. In German, I don't remember what it is. I don't know the German thing, but the words actually change on German Windows, for example.
Right.
Which is why we have a variable. All right, why am I belaboring this point? Well, it turns out that we can actually say, hey, instead of installing this install folder to episode 13, when we install it, let's go ahead and pass a different value for the install folder. So we can control what that directory is. I'm going to build again because we changed our exe. We did not change our setup. I did a whole bunch of changes. I undid them all. So we have our same MSI, but we now have an exe with a read key at the end to stop it. Right? Right. All right. All of this hopefully is review up to this point, right? We are just installing this file, hooking all this stuff together, and I am belaboring a point about the ID of this install folder and the program files folder here. All that structure we've done lots of different ways.
Yes.
All right. Let's bring up the sandbox. Oh, I already have a sandbox running. That's fine. All right, sandbox is still running. We'll use it. Okay, so I want to change the value of install folder. Okay, so let me, to do that, I need to bring up a command prompt because I need to pass on the command line. And then I want to go into that directory. Let's make this a little bigger. How's that reading? Better?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
That's much better.
Yeah, the problem I have to do this every time inside the sandbox because sandbox won't remember, but that's okay. All right, so there's the episode 13 MSI. So the Windows installer's executable is actually called msiexec.exe. And if we do msiexec.exe ? It tells us all these command line options that it has, and it has a lot of them. You could do a lot from the command line with MSI. When we double click it, it just does the install operation. All right. So I'm going to tell it msiexec install episode 13.msi. All right. And then I'm going to say, hey, I know that you have a directory in you called install directory. Will you please install that file into the episode 13 folder at the root of the disk? Okay. So there's no episode 13 folder here, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say, hey, please install this and go. Install folder. Oh, did I typo it? What did I say? Install during install folder. My bad. Thank you. Look at that. Chat coming to the rescue in seconds. Who's the master of this dojo? Thank you, Martin. Very appreciate it. Also, great to have you here. I hope you're having a wonderful evening in Denmark. All right, here we go. By the way, I'm sorry about the World Cup. Next time. All right. It's all right. We got out too, so it's no big deal. All right. Episode 13 install folder. C:. What are we saying? We are saying, hey, please set the value C:, back EP13 back to this value of install folder. We install it. Wait for it, and boom! Look at that. Episode 13 folder, and look, there's our console exe.
Nice.
And I can run it, and now it waits for me to press a key. Hit escape, and we're done. All right. So what we're showing here is this. I can set this install folder value here. Okay. Now, let's uninstall real quick, please. And we're going to show that the correct directory goes away. Actually, before I do that, let's open another browser window and go into C program files x86, and there's no episode 13, right? So we did change the directory where it installed. It didn't install to both places. It only installed to the place where we told it to. Hopefully that's what you would expect it to do, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. And then we're gonna say, hey, will you please remove our MSI? And poof, I was in that folder, and now we're back in the root over here. All right, cool. So we did a little install. And we're set. Okay, great. Okay,
Great.
let's make this a little more interesting. And we're gonna create directory ID equals the bin folder, right? Name equals bin. Maybe for whatever reason, we want to install our files into the bin folder inside episode 13, okay? Maybe that's the requirement, right? I don't know. So I'm gonna say, hey, change where all these components get installed to, install them to the bin folder, please. And there, okay?
Okay.
It's not a problem. Let's go ahead and build. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, and we're gonna go back to our sandbox. I uninstalled it. So I should now be able to, I have so many little windows open now in this little window. Okay, so here's where we installed. Okay, here's our program files. Minimize, get rid of the regedit. We're not using him much today. Okay, cool. I just built this episode 13. We're going to install it. What do we expect to see if I just double click on it? Where do we expect to see?
It'll go to the bin folder.
Well, program files folder, episode
okay.
13.
Right.
There's a bin folder. And in the bin folder is where we put our content.
Sure.
Okay,
All right.
cool. Install folder, bin folder, all good. Hey, look, episode 13 again. Hit escape, everything still works, right? No surprises. Refresh, we're gonna uninstall it. And just to show, yes, it's telling me that this directory is no longer here. There we go. Okay, just to show that it works the same, I'm going to install down here, episode 13. I'm gonna put a tilde at the front of it. Okay, so the root of our directory.
Right.
Install folder there. What do you expect to see inside episode 13? This is our directory tree. We told to change
should
install
still be
folder.
bin.
Right.
So the bin folder and then the program inside bin.
There you go. Bin folder inside program bin. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So no surprises there. We told to put the bin episode 13 with a bin folder inside it. Okay. By the way, if you want to remove an MSI from the command line, you want to guess what the command line is? -I was install.
You.
You would think it's you, but it's actually it's X. Why?
Okay.
I don't know. Are you sure you want to install this program? Yes, please do. There. All right. Episode 13 is gone. Episode 13 is gone. Okay.
All right.
All right. So program files folder, install folder, bin folder. Let's say that we want to mix things up, and as a user, I want to change where bin folder goes. I don't care about install folder. I want to change where bin folder goes. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll go back to my MSI exec/I install. Let's go ahead and bring this a little more centrally, maybe a little bigger. Make it a little wider. Oh, there we go. I can make it all fit. That's awesome. I'm going to change install folder to bin folder. I don't want to put it in episode 13. Tilde, at the root.
Okay.
All right. So what would you expect that to do?
Well, I would expect it to make a bin folder in it just like it did earlier.
But I'm telling it bin folder, not install folder. See, I'm saying change this one where the bin folder is.
It won't put bin on the root, will it?
Yeah. Should we try it?
Sure.
All right. Here's our root directory. Get some of these things out of the way. Too many windows open. I need to make my sandbox bigger, maybe, so I have more room to see. All right. So I'm saying, please install episode 13 MSI bin folder to the root of the directory. We tell it to go ahead and do that. Things happen. Nothing happened in our root folder. But look at this. In program files folder, there's episode 13. And inside episode 13 is the bin folder. And inside bin folder is our console app 1. And console app still works the same way. So what did the Windows installer do? It ignored us. It ignored this folder, this statement to say, hey, please put this bin folder in this directory. We said, please do that, and the Windows installer ignored us. And so this was a trick question, David. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The reason it did not work, because the identifier, the directory ID, is not in all caps. All caps is the way of telling the Windows installer, allow this to be overridden by the user on the command line.
Oh, okay.
So by making it mixed case or lowercase, basically not all not all uppercase, then they will not let you set this from the command line.
So if you would have put bin folder all caps, it would have worked as expected.
Let's do it. All right. And let's do this too while we're doing that. Component group. All right. We're going to put the Control-Shift-U in Visual Studio, uppercase everything. Really handy. All right. We're going to put the console app in the bin folder. And we're going to put the example components.wxs in the install folder. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm putting this source file. I'm going to install the source file that says to install the source file. A little inception. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. It's just goofy. So I just wanted to put something in install folder and something in bin folder as we do this experiment. Cool?
Sure. Yep.
And you said you wanted them all caps, so we have both install folder and bin folder now set. All right? That's what you want?
Yes. And so it should work this time.
Yeah, let's go back to our sandbox and uninstall. Pretty sure I left him. Yep, uninstall. Go. Yes, I know the episode 13 directory has been removed. There's nothing in the root. Hopefully our build finished in the background. It looks like it did. All right, I've lost my sandbox. Here it is. Woo, we got a lot of stuff going on here. All right, so first step. What do you want to do? You want to install it? You want to install it with bin folder set? What do you want to do?
Yeah, we'll do the last command. So, I mean, that shows that the bin...
So you want to set bin folder, this one?
Yes. Now, do you have to do all caps there too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It has to be, it's case sensitive.
Well, let's just try it. It's easy, right?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to say bin folder goes there.
Yep.
So what are we expecting to show up on our machine in the end?
The bin should be in the root.
Okay.
If this caps works like that.
Anything else?
Well, you now have that other directory that should be in program files, right?
Yep. Let's go ahead and install it. Look at that. An episode 13 in the root and an episode 13 in program files folder. Cool. So what's inside this folder? The episode 13 inside the root of the drive.
That's wait, that's the root. So that should be bin inside there.
Okay. And then what's inside this episode 13? What's inside here?
I forgot what you changed it to. That's where the WiX file was.
You're right.
Install or something like that, right?
The example components WiX file.
Example components, yeah.
And you said this was going to have bin folder in it? Close. Yeah. Not quite. It is the bin folder. It is the
bin file. All right.
So it has the console inside it.
Okay.
All right. Cool?
Cool.
All right. Let's uninstall that. And Bob pointed out that there are long versions for this command line. So you can do episode 13.msi.
Oh, okay.
So not /u, but /uninstall will do it. And look at that. Both directories, both in program files and the root, both are removed at the same time.
Okay.
Okay. So by making both of these caps locked, all caps, I can set them independent of each other.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
One more trick to do here. You asked, what happens if we do mixed case? Bin folder. What do we expect is going to happen?
Well, if it doesn't work, then it should ignore it. Then
right.
It won't put that directory. It won't put the console app right on the root like that.
That's what I bet it's going to do. We're going to end up with a bin folder inside the episode 13 folder inside program files folder.
Right.
Oh, I'm wrong. Look at that. I am wrong. It did not care about the case from the command line.
Oh, okay.
Woo! Hey, look. Learn something every day. This is why we test it. This is why we try it. All right, so what do we learn? The command line is not case sensitive.
Okay.
fact, I think that's true here because I can say like capital uninstall. All kind of mixed case. Yeah, it doesn't care.
Okay. The command line doesn't care. The source file, obviously.
Basically, they have decided that the command line does not care.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to do it again with a capital I. And there we go.
Okay.
How about mentioning the nameless alias directories? Okay, we'll get back to nameless or alias directories sometime. We could do that. We'll see. Not quite yet. All right. So what does that mean? That means that I'm glad we did this experiment, and I'm glad you asked that question, David. That was a good one. So if we make them all caps, that means no matter what case the user puts on the command line, they can change them. But if we make the mixed case, then they can't change them at all.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
Okay. Make sense?
Yes. Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Do you have any other questions, or can I try to do one more thing to show off a new WiX V4 feature?
Yep, I think we're good.
Okay. I want to show off a WiX V4 feature. I'm going to change this back to bin folder. Actually, no. I'm going to get rid of this. I want to... All right. I didn't test this before, so here we go out into the wild blue yonder. Okay. So, install folder. I'm going to remove the definition of the bin folder here, David. That means that we can no longer install the bin folder, right?
Right.
I didn't define it. There's no directory for it. You can't do that anymore. Okay. So I'm going to take this directory. I'm going to say install folder up here. Directory. Now... And this directory, if I say bin folder, what happens if I build right now?
I'm not sure.
Well,
it doesn't know what bin folder is, so
yeah, the identifier bin folder could not be found.
Oh, okay.
Ensure that you type the references and all the necessary endpoints are provided. All right. So yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. Okay.
Right.
So we got to fix that. How do we fix that?
I don't know. Manually tell it what directory bin folder is?
We go and create the directory, right? Well, in
Right.
WiX 4, we don't have to. We have this new thing called subdirectory. There we go. Took it a second. Subdirectory. And this will create the directory for us automatically.
Okay. And you don't need the directory anymore, bin?
Nope.
You just say that, huh?
You just say that. It'll just go create it for you. Want to prove it? We should prove it, right? All right.
Yep.
Let's shut down the sandbox because we did a whole bunch of random stuff in the sandbox. Let's throw the whole thing away.
Sure.
And start over from scratch. Okay, new sandbox, nice and clean with this new MSI. I did tell it to build, did I not? Build.
I don't know.
There it was.
Okay.
The nice thing about this, look, tell it to build again. It's like, yeah, I'm done. Nice and fast. Why is that? Magic of
Because it
MS
doesn't
Build.
change anything.
That's right. I didn't change anything, and MS Build knows I didn't change anything. So there we go. All right, inside episode 13. Episode 13, bin, x86, debug, English. All right, episode 13, when we install, what do we expect to have happen?
Well, you're going to have a bin directory inside of that.
Yeah, so we have install folder,
of it.
that lives inside program files.
Yep.
We have install folder example. So example is going to be inside install folder, right?
Yep.
And we're going to hope that there's a bin folder inside there. Zoom, zoom. Hey, where'd my Dojo folder go? There. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Blind. I'm wearing my glasses today. Look at that. Boom. Hey, well, there's episode 13. Our MSI successfully installed. Episode 13. Look at that. We have a bin folder. Yay. Okay. So do not try this in WiX 3. It does not work, but it does in WiX 4. We got another minute. I got 2 more minutes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
No surprise. You're like, that didn't work before?
Right.
Yeah. Is it? You're so unimpressed, David. You're just like, whatever. I don't know. It seems like a thing. All right. I've cleaned up here. I'm going to come back and I'm going to make another change. Let's say we have to put it in bin x86. This is the x86 one. All right.
Okay.
Build. That's 2 directories, right? Right?
Yeah, I would
Bin
say so.
and x86
Yes.
would be 2 directories that we'd have to create. So when we install, zoom, boom, bin, x86, console app.
Okay.
All right, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice, handy little thing. So it essentially can save you a lot of typing if you don't have to go to your main directory tree every time and create another directory. You could just say, hey, subdirectory right here. Now, it's a balance because now you've created a directory here rather than centrally in that directory, rather centrally. So you have to kind of decide, how do you want your directories spread all over the place, or do you want to have them all centrally managed inside in like a folders or something like that? One last thing, since I'm showing different ways of installing, show more options, really? Okay, if you right click on an MSI file, there's also uninstall here. Ta-da, look, episode 13, we cleaned up our sandbox. Cool?
Cool.
So that's a handy dandy little thing that you can use. Martin asked, does V4 Harvest use that? No, doesn't matter. It just creates a directory tree. Nothing has been done to heat except to make it continue to work. Now, in FireGiant, we have an advanced harvesting that we're working on to update it to WiX 4. Currently, it only targets WiX 3, but we have an advanced harvesting system, and we may use it there. We'll see. But heat does not use it. All right. I think that's what I have for today, is installing directories. We have another variable to talk about, which is properties, but I figured directories was more important, more interesting, and then we'll have to come back to properties at another time. Cool? Was that fun, Dave?
Yeah.
That was pretty good. All right, there we go. A nice quick exploration of directories. And hey, I learned something. The case of the command line does not matter. As long as this is capitalized here, you can use whatever case you want from the command line, and the Windows installer will happily let you override that directory from the command line. So we're going to leave it there. David learned a little something. I learned a little something. We'll be back next week. I know we're getting close to Christmas, but next week is just a couple days before RC1. RC1 and WiX 4. Lots of bugs fixed in Preview 1. But honestly, you can see things are working really well, at least in these basics. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. WiX 4 is coming very soon. Until then, all you guys keep coding. You know I am. Bye.
See ya.